Ooh, I have to wish someone a happy birthday before the day's out. Give me 1 second. Did everyone hear that?
Yep.
No.
I just said, let me know when you're ready, RC.
Oh, that I did not hear. The last thing I heard was you saying you had to wish someone happy birthday. We're ready.
Oh, okay. Then let's go ahead.
Go for it.
Before we get into it, do you think you could promote me? I've got a new Kitlac model I want to add in. It's not that different, but
Yeah, you haven't been tragically disfigured yet. Although that is really Cassie's position most of the time.
true enough, I suppose.
Had to play
Yep.
on Thursday for that.
Yeah, it was Galdwin's turn to get. Well, no, I would say Malkill's character was horribly disfigured and scarred. It just looked badass in the model.
Hey, that sure looks badass though too.
True, true.
Glowing, what'd you say, purple eyes?
Yeah, kind of a purplish white eye. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
We'll have to find you some demons to hunt.
Anyways, you're promoted, Tyler, and where we left off, we had some. I'll leave that to you to figure out, Tyler. Um, it's not letting me import that link, Tyler.
Apologies for making everyone wait. Can you put that one in there? I also muted myself and I forgot to unmute myself. I'm kind of a mess, apparently. Thank you
But we
so
love
much.
you anyways. There we go. Is this an alternate model or just a replacement?
It's a replacement because he put a lava crow on the back of his jacket.
Ah. Anyways, where we last left off, we did a bit of a rewind time. People got to discuss some of what their motivations are, some of what their rewards were. Um, they had a nice night's sleep, night, day, long rest. Uh, then they were met by a strange hooded figure who wanted one of the relics they had inadvertently acquired, shall we say? And while they initially declined, the kobolds were also very interested in it by proxy. And for a small fee of 5,000 gold, I believe it was. Yes.
Something like
Uh,
that.
yeah. You exchange that for the strange glowing skull and Tyler's connection to the game.
1 second. I'm still listening. It just did the thing that it does sometimes, and so I'm not gonna dink with it anymore after this. I don't want the whole game to be technical errors. We have enough of that on Friday. Thank you very much.
So with that, they are heading out to find a reliable fence that Shay knows in the city. Um, Shay, there are a couple people you know. You decided you didn't want to give it to the stuck-up wealthy one.
Yeah,
Which
no.
one's the new Kitlak, by the way?
The one who is not on the pedestal. If you promote me, I was gonna do. Pardon me. I was going to do a thing with the two of them. Let me do that.
All right. Um, sorry, what did you say, Godwin?
Yeah, not the stuck up one. Like if they still had the skull with them, she would have gone with that guy.
Yeah,
But
you no longer have the skull. You now just have. What is it?
the jade figurine.
Yes, a jade totem with diamond eyes. That was it. Yeah, you know a couple fences. But this is worth probably a pretty penny. So you want someone reliable, someone you trust, someone that won't turn you in, and someone that won't ask questions. And well, granted, that's most of the fences. The big thing is the money. Uh, yeah, you know someone. They're in the market. Would you like to lead your entire group there, or just go by yourself? And they trust you with the totem, although I believe it is currently in Kitlak's stomach in his magic bag.
No, we can go together.
Don't forget to make a copy of your new figure and replace it on the board, Kitlak.
Gotcha. Where am I? I am right there.
So you head down to the second level. There is a kind of far from the Arc Life constructs, but somewhat close to the other resurrection facility, is a small antique shop. And it's it's one of those shops where everything looks expensive, but if you know where to look, there's like it could be it could be faux or it could be real, but you really need to examine it. There is a sense of high end to it, but it's not really a high end place, sort of thing. People looking to quickly increase the value of their appearance, that's the sort of place that they would go to get the right kind of purse or the right kind of necklace or the right kind of totem. Whether it's real or not, but they do very good business. So yeah, you can just enter the store if you'd like, or how how well do you know this fence, Shay?
This is probably one of the two or three that she probably goes to on a regular basis for notably much uh, smaller in items, gold wise. Um, so I think they would know her by name, um, and vice versa. So
All right, and they do know you by name. It is Shay, you son of a bitch, and it is a tiefling. with lovely curled horns and satyr legs, and a deep purple color. And well, it could be termed a skirt. It looks a little more like a kilt. And she is just grinning at you.
Hi, Jalal. I've got something for you again. Are there other people in the store?
Not at the moment. No, it's quite quiet at this time. I mean, it's a busy market, but in this store particular, it's sort of it's not off the main drag. There is no off the main drag anywhere here, but it is kind of tucked in a corner so that it it has a corner window, which a little bit of it is shown through the streets easily. But unless you know where to walk, you don't really notice this place, which is how she likes it. You got more of those, and she will hold up both hands and do air quotes mithril coins from
Uh,
that exquisite collector.
What, didn't you get your money's worth out of those?
Of course I did. It was
Of
hilarious.
course you did. See, I knew you. I know you could.
Do you know how hard it was to keep a straight face through that entire transaction, though? I pulled a muscle.
Didn't bust out a laugh, huh?
Oh, I may have collapsed afterward, just cackling. Old GIF. They don't know what they're getting.
She's gonna lower her voice a bit. I've got something a bit bigger for you this time.
Oh, bigger. Are we talking, and she's going to indicate what looks like a very fancy shield made up of gold and platinum and some red rubies that are artistically broken upon it as if dripping in blood? Or are we talking, and then she indicates a very obvious giant chalice that is just taking up part of a wall for no reason?
In the background, Kit like is starting to do like the cat with a hairball thing, the hoong, 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 just and just coughs up his bag and reaches in and without a word just hands the it's the totem, right?
Yep.
Yeah, hands
Skull
the
is
totem
gone.
over to Shay. Yeah,
Jay is going to pretend that she did not hear that and just kind of blink at Jalal.
I was about to say, you make the mess, you clean it up, but I might take that from you. And she presses a button behind her counter that just has shutters not slam down, but they descend exceptionally quickly and sort of shade the room. Let's see what we've got here. You also hear a click of a lock in the door.
Did we appraise this ourselves before? I thought we did, like when we were staying at the inn.
You did. You estimated somewhere between 5 and 10,000, but you couldn't. None of you are exactly trained in jewels, so in gem gem cutting. What's the term I'm looking for?
Jewel crafting?
I think that's
Gem cutting? Yeah, gem cutting,
yeah,
jewel crafting, something like that.
yeah. None of you are trained in that, so all you could do was kind of do an estimate. So you know it's worth a lot. You just don't. You just got a range out of it, though. Well, for one thing, this is definitely real jade, and it is very intricately carved. And the eyes, let's see.
Astral diamonds.
Well, diamonds, certainly. Whoever told you they were astral were selling you a bill of goods. It's also, if you want to get technical, a singular diamond that has been divided in two very artistically to make the eyes.
Is that true? Insight check.
Go for it. And what tools do you have?
15. Tools, cartographers, navigators, thieves.
And what are you trained in?
Oh, what do I have versus what I'm trained in?
Skill
I
wise,
think
sorry. What are you trained in skill wise?
skill wise, I'm trained in cartographers, navigators, and thieves. I only have thieves tools currently.
No, skills. What skills?
Oh, skills. Insight, deception, arcana, persuasion, stealth.
Okay. So with 15, it's a bit of a mixed bag. She is telling the truth. This is one diamond, but you also think she's saying that to try and lower the.
That's what I was getting
It's
at.
a bit of
She's trying to
both.
lower.
Where
She's
it is,
trying to lower the price. Yeah.
yeah, it's hiding hiding a bit of deception in true honesty, sort of thing. But it is exquisite work and very well cut. And I do happen to know of a rather bloated cousin who knows a Loxodon who is looking for something like this. Hmm.
Gift for their mistress.
I mean, it's an incubus, but he hasn't figured that out yet.
Mm,
Well, it's more amusing to watch the show. You know how it is.
indeed.
Plus, he always returns with some of the valuables. He's a very good customer, you know. He's why I'm probably sure I can afford this off of you for, oh, probably 5,500.
I've had my compatriots appraise this, but I'm pretty sure you can get 10,000 for it. I'm only asking for 7,500.
She is going to eye your compatriots because this is the first time you've had them. Let's see. Compatriots, what do you look like at this moment?
Kitlak is trying to re-ingest the satchel, so he's kind of got his head tilted back and his jaws open wide, and it's kind of going in reverse. Yeah, but other than that, he's like pretty well put together. Just looking like a crazy person.
Genevieve?
Genevieve always looks put together, except when she is in another shape.
And you're just standing there, expressionless?
She is watching this entire encounter, but basically.
And Cassie, what are you doing?
Cassie, she's probably standing there silently observing the area around them. She's definitely paying attention to the conversation, but she's not looking directly at it.
Well, they do look like a better class than you usually hang out with. Only 7,500? Yeah, I could probably get. You're right. It's probably worth 10,000. You only want 7,500. Yeah, that's a fair enough difference. Okay, 7,500. But
Deal.
it would be nice to if I knew where you got it. Or is this one of those things
Are
where I
you
shouldn't ask?
sure you want to know where I got it?
With that tone, I absolutely do not. Absolutely do not. She's going to slide the idol over, and in a few, it takes less than a minute. There is a display box that had uh, one of those neck pieces and neck statues display, and a very fancy pearl and silver necklace with a great big sapphire on it. That's gone, and now the totem is in the glass case instead, looking pristine and actually a little shinier than it did before it went into the box. Shay, you know this is just a minor glamour on the box. It's designed to make things look worth even more. Um, and how do you want this payment? Do you want directly wired to that account of yours, or do you want it in coins this time?
Well, this is my new crew, and we're splitting the profits. The coin this time, I would say.
Okay, very well, very well. And she is going to hold out a small coin pouch and hand it over to you. And as usual, I expect it to be returned next
She's
time you visit.
meaning the pouch.
Yes.
Absolutely. Kitlak, you can't swallow this one, okay?
Oh, very well.
And if that is a very special bag, like I suspect, you probably shouldn't put it in there either, unless you want to end up somewhere surprising.
Oh, like nowhere.
Um, like anywhere. We don't know.
Nowhere or everywhere? Yeah.
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 All
Okay.
right. Pleasure doing discreet business as always. And another button, you hear the door unlock, the shades rise. Um, it's just all normal again. And do tell your father that if he really does want that gift for the anniversary, he's got to make a payment soon. I do have other interested parties.
How much?
Oh, well, for family, and you know how your father is, just 500.
Do I want to know what it is?
I mean, it's not. This isn't that sort of store, you know. I mean, we do have those sorts of things, but not out in public, and certainly not what your father would get your mother. At least, I don't think so. I never asked.
Sorry, what did you say this was for again?
Their anniversary.
Their anniversary. Okay. Uh, I'm not sure Mom would appreciate it anyway. That's not her thing. He knows that. I think he's a bit desperate at this point.
It's not a
They're
desperation thing. It's very sweet if it's something she actually wants, and I've been wanting to get rid of it, so it's a fair trade.
what is it?
She is going to reach under the counter and pull out a small, narrow box. And when she opens it, it is a gorgeous looking sapphire gem pen where the gem has been softened and molded like it's part of the pen holding. It is it is beautiful, and it does as it says. It never runs out of ink, and it glows ever so slightly whenever he's thinking of her. Well, once he's attuned to it, etc., etc. It's rather basic, and do you know how many people look at it and then go, "Yeah, give me something better"? I mean, it's a great distraction piece, but it's just cluttering up room here.
Is it worth 500?
Um, roll me. You don't have jeweler's tools, so again, roll me without the proficiency. I think that's
Rolling
intelligence.
just in? Okay.
Yeah, just int.
30/20.
Um, she is being honest when she's saying it's a family discount. This is actually worth probably 7 or 800. Um, just from the craftsmanship to mold the gem perfectly so that it isn't too cold, that it fits comfortably, it isn't too heavy. Yeah, it is definitely a worthwhile pen. It's not a big enchantment. It's nothing too fancy, but it is very nice. It is something um, it is something that some of the high scientists you've seen around use, and not one that you've seen your mother use so far.
Shay will slide with a sigh. She'll slide 500 gold onto the table and say, when he comes to pick it up, tell him he owes me.
And
Don't tell him how much. Just tell him he owes me.
they are going to swipe that. It's completely gone, along with the box into the coin. Of course, I'll send a message immediately that it's ready for pickup. Especially if he wants to get it to her in time. I mean, it's only what, 3 weeks away? Whew. Cutting it close.
He was, yeah, he was. I mean, this is pretty good for him. He's usually a last minute shopper.
Well, it sounds like he has much else to do around here other than his job. But that's the same with all of us, isn't that right?
Who'd she address that to?
The customer just walking in.
Ah, what do they look like?
They are a
Is
they
it the
look like
Loxodon?
a simple elf.
Oh.
Short hair, scar over one eye. There is a creature that's sitting outside kind of impatiently. It looks like a panther, maybe? Kind of hard to focus on them.
Thanks, Joel. Good luck with the Loxodon.
Oh, luck has nothing to do with it, dear. He'll be back. And how can I help you, my good sir?
And she'll walk.
The elf is just,
out.
as you all leave, the elf is just going to say, ma'am, not sir. My mistake, my mistake. It's the armor. Yeah, the cat is outside. That tail is twitching. There is something twitching on its back, and it's still hard to focus on.
Well, on to
On to
Miss Bar.
Mistmar? Absolutely.
Mistmar.
And certain and/or possible death or fortune.
If there is a quiet place out of the way, I should bring the group over there to split the gold for them.
I mean, there are a couple taverns that are they're not they don't claim they're designed to split uh, rewards, fines, gold, treasure, etc. But that is kind of their purpose, where they have very private booths just for that, and the security to make sure that you can go in and out unharassed for a little bit at least.
Yeah,
Did we
it's gonna-
split the 5,000 from last time? We didn't yet,
We
right?
did,
Yes,
yeah.
we did.
Yeah,
How
we
much
did.
was it? Because I don't remember being
1,250.
Okay.
This is 1875.
Hold on, I can only keep one number in my head at a time. 1250 you said for the first one?
Yes, indeed. And this one is 1875. You said.
Yes.
That's per each of us. Yeah, just to make 100%.
Yes.
Okay, time to do some math.
The bag, as you note, is only about 2 pounds. It's the size of a coin purse, but when you open it, it is easily holds. Like you just keep pulling out gold pieces until you reach 7,500.
Mhm.
It's a sort of a unique bag of holding design specifically for coins, which is why she wants it back.
Yeah. If we're gonna pass by the bank, she'll toss some more money in there.
You also have to decide how you're going to get to Mistmar.
It's by invitation, you said. So is there like a gift shuttle?
There is no. Well, you'd have to investigate, really. The most notable way to get to Mistmar is to walk.
Oops.
I feel like if Genevieve has been wanting to go to Mistmar to the point where she was willing to give up some memories to get gold, and that was one of the things, would she have done some research on how to get there? Like various and sundry transportation options?
Roll me your history or investigation, your choice.
Let's see if my roller is going to cooperate today. 14, we'll say history.
Um, So you've never actually, because you know to just go there is kind of dangerous and that would defeat the purpose of your work. You've never, say, sought out a way to get there, but you have made sure to keep your ears open to rumors, and when people mention it, that you listen in on that conversation, sort of thing. You do know that there is a pilot uh, that kind of works at a slumbar. He's a sort of cargo pilot that does regular trips to and from Mistmar. Um, you've never met him. You saw him once. He's a stout little dwarf, which seems a little redundant now that I say that, who for some reason doesn't have a beard, um, and just regularly makes trips about eh, once every 10 days or so. You'd have to, with the 14, you don't know what day it is compared to when he has to travel at this point, but you do know where he hangs out at least.
Genevieve will share that information with the others and just say, "W- we could ask him. He may cost a bit of money, but it'll be faster. Or we can just catch a shuttle to the closest settlement and then walk from there."
Now, we are facing certain death coming up here. I assume that we should, I don't know, take precautions where we can. This whole area is highly dangerous as well, we know. I'd just as soon hire transit to get over there to skip to the real dangerous bits.
Cassie, roll me a quick wisdom saving throw.
That's an amazing 5.
You have the sudden urge to remind everyone that you are part of an immortality consortium industry that could solve the dangerous problem very easily and give him a nice robotic body, much like your own.
Oh, God. We got pesterware in here.
In all honesty, they really did just have to be defied. They didn't.
Well, you can always go with my option. It does remove a lot of that danger.
I'd rather not spend my money on dying, if possible.
Cassie's the light in Cassie's eyes kind of winks out for a split second.
That was odd. Where did that come from?
Kitlek makes a repulsed and scared face just for a second and then just like poker faces it instantly. Well, think I'll go without.
You don't have some of that hooded figure in your head, do you?
Not that I'm aware of. I will do another diagnostic later.
Well, in the meantime, I suggest we search this guy out and at least see what his price point is.
Either way,
Hopefully, he won't clean us out. And she will lead the way to wherever this guy's hangout is.
Kitlek will follow.
yeah, are we going to pass the bank so that we can shake and
Um,
make another deposit?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Kitlek doesn't trust banking establishments. That's how corpos get you.
Look, I don't necessarily trust them either, but it's better than taking all that money to Mistmar.
I'm just saying there are other ways of handling her goods.
But what if you get to Mistmar and there's something they're selling and you don't have the money to buy it?
I've still got a decent amount.
All
If
right.
it's more than what I have, then I don't need it.
One session later, they regret that they don't have the gold for a resurrection scroll. Anyways, um, yeah, Genevieve will lead you to a very tucked, kind of shadowed, almost carved into the edge of the plateau tavern called the Hanging Kobold, and there is a lovely image of a kobold being hung on the tavern sign.
Not sure they want my kind in here.
I'm sure
Or
it'll
is
be
it just
fine.
or is it just a rivalry with the other
Roll me your
inns?
insight to figure that one out.
Yeah, Kitlak will as well. Wow.
Ugh. 9.
17 for Kitlak.
That is a dirty 20 for Cassie.
So Cassie and Kitlak, it's kind of appropriate you get it. There's a bit of a double meaning here. A quick glance in as Genevieve opens the door reveals this is very much a dwarf bar, and traditionally dwarves and kobolds compete sometimes for the same territory underground. But more importantly, you've encountered two kobold-focused restaurant and rest areas. This is the first dwarf one. You think there is a bit of a rivalry just going on simply because, you know, the dwarves don't want to be at the kobold ones. They want to be in charge of all the inns and such, at least the ones in Iraq. So yeah, it's not like they hate kobolds per se. It's more referencing species struggles and corporate.
Like a that is yours and this is mine, never the twain shall meet sort of deal, you know?
Yeah, and while there was at least one dwarf at the bar in Colony, it was also the only bar in Colony, so that one they don't have much of a choice. But yeah, it's more rivalry than anything else. You don't think that you'll get dirty looks or anything like? Well, no more than usual for you, Kitlak, I should say.
Yeah. Kitlak had dwarves on his smugglers crew back in the day, and like he's kind of familiar with the whole like cultural rivalry. These are like non-dwarf dwarfs, the same way that Kitlak is like a non-kobold kobold. You know what I mean? Um, but he's still like vaguely. He's of the opinion that like racial rivalries are kind of dumb, but he understands that people need something to get behind and yell about, so he's not going to judge people too hard.
Yeah, and on this asteroid, you've been here long enough to know that while there are certainly some racial rivalries, see Drow, Astral Elves, um, here at the plateau, they're a little more superficial in that they exist because that's culturally and historically what's existed. But survival does kind of depend on cooperation where they are, simply because otherwise everyone dies from the heat. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, you're not going to get shot in the back any more than you would any other place here.
Okay, so what was the dwarf's name that we're looking for?
The dwarf's name is Harry.
Harry.
Yes, and he is well aware of the irony, and he is not a fan of it. But it's what the rest of his people call him, so that's what he's known as.
All right, so Genevieve will first take a look around for the only clean-shaven dwarf in this entire establishment.
It doesn't take long. He is in a bit of a. While the name is slightly derogatory, there's either some ostracization or respect going on because he has his own little table with the best seat in that his back is to the wall and he can see every exit in the room. It's one of the two, but yeah, he has a table and he has a grog of something.
Genevieve is completely unaware of what etiquette is required here, so she's just going to walk up to the table. Excuse me, are you Harry?
Well, I certainly ain't Sally.
But have you met her yet?
That is the big question, man.
I don't mean to be interrupting your drinking, but I'm hoping to see what you might charge for a trip to Mistmar.
You see a bit of a twinkle in his, would they be green? Yeah, green eyes. Mistmar, huh? Well, you just got a little more interesting. Have a seat.
Genevieve will sit down.
Does anyone else sit down?
There's seats.
It's a bit of a curved bar, and while he has his back to the wall and the best view, there's basically a seat to the left of him and like 3 seats to the right of him. All on a curved table, basically.
She's gonna let Genevieve handle this, so she'll just stand kind of
That's going
behind
to
her.
be a disaster.
Kitlak will like position himself where he's waiting in the wings. Like he's cool with Genevieve taking point, but he'll be there for backup if he needs to be. So he's gonna sit down. He's gonna hold up one clawed finger to order like one generic beer or whatever they have here.
Cassie will sit down as well. Kind of unusual for her, but
Like, what's with the finger, dude?
One beer, is that not how you do it here?
This is a dwarf establishment. As he says that, there is suddenly a large stein of something in front of you. The waiter even hands you one, Shay, and then just goes away. Doesn't even ask what you wanted or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
We got one drink. It costs 20 copper. You want the good drink? You hold up some silver. You want the great drink? He's going to eye all 4 of you. Yeah, we're not going to clean the floor tonight with what would be left behind, so stop at silver.
Yeah, Kitlak will pay the 20 copper. He is fine with that.
Now, a trip to Mistmar. So, are you druids? Are you Satanists? Are you cultists? Are you murderers? Are you thieves? Are you insane? What's your angle here?
Probably a little bit of all that. I'm an ecologist. I like studying wildlife and plants.
He's just gonna nod slowly. Ah, do that. Insane. Got it.
We have money, most notably. That is probably the most important thing for you to know about our situation.
The scaly dude.
Shay is just going to
Little
shake.
scaly dude. I don't need your money. I got money. I got the best gig hauling dirt. From the place no one wants to go to the place they'll kill you if you steal the dirt. Money ain't the issue. Give me something interesting. I mean, I'll definitely take he's going to eye all 4 of you. 400 ahead, 500 for insurance, and another 100 for insurance, if you don't mind flying cargo class.
What sort of things do you find interesting?
Well, you're insane and an ecologist. What's an ecologist? Is that something for Mikolin?
Nay, it just means I study the earth.
Oh, you're trying to figure out the secrets to the dirt. You stuck your nose in and breathed deep?
Not yet.
Yeah, that's a good way to suffocate. How about you, little lizard?
Oh, you know us kobolds, always in search of riches and, secrets and whatever else nonsense. Kilek waves his hand and takes a big sip of the drink in front of him.
Right, and after you finish swallowing that bullshit, how about something interesting, like the truth?
Oh, it is one step on a long journey of revenge, my friend. Long
Ooh.
and arduous, and, well, one needs a spelljammer to get off this rock, and one needs a spelljammer to enact revenge, and one needs coin to get a spelljammer.
Stupidly brave, got it.
Indeed.
Who you targeting?
For now, he says, unless it's absolutely necessary, my secrets will remain my own. But know that it is not you.
Bigger than you, smaller than you, equal to you, size-wise.
Well, most things are bigger than me. I can't very well have revenge on a rat now, can I?
Well, I mean, there's a little rat nest that has the brains on the outside. People take revenge on them after they go a little nuts.
Yeah, I don't like thinking about that. That makes me profoundly uncomfortable.
Yeah, so do they.
Yeah, I don't think the rats like thinking about us either. I've seen them watch me a few times. Kid like looks really troubled over the brim of his beverage and takes another deep swig. Their
Hey,
greedy eyes.
you ain't been skinned alive while you slept, so they like you so far.
Kid like does a little like shudder and continues to chug. He's got like both of his little kobold hands around this massive stein.
Um,
I have heard that out there are some rodents of unusual size.
yep, there are. That's what you're after, little lady? Robot lady?
No, I'm more going along for the ride. Need money for my own purposes.
Yeah, you gotta keep keep up that fancy body, going for the experiences. One of those rich ones that does every death-defying thing just to feel it. Lose a little soul each time.
It's not very scientific.
Yeah, takes all kinds. And hey, their coin I bilk because they ain't interesting. They just want to experience death. We can all experience death. I can take you out back and have you experience death. But no, they have to go all the way to Mistmar, get skewered by a centaur or a satyr or a Harengon. And what about you, the one who is apparently uh, choking on her drink?
I'm the muscle.
You see his lips quirk up, and just for that, 500 gold, you're in. Not every day someone makes me laugh. You know, you look familiar. Have we met?
Have we?
Roll your history.
You know, you would think so, but the kinder all look alike.
Oh.
Nat 20. Do tell me, oh Shay, what do you remember of the raid that nearly downed your ship?
She would well, she was probably not a ton because she was hooked up. She was piloting at the time. Um, What would the ship have allowed her to see? Is there like sensors that she or sensory information she would be uh, privy to having the helmet on?
Not really. Not like sensors, Star Trek sensors sort of way. It is very much on some wavelength like Friday, where you're on the deck of a ship. You might have windows to see out, but you don't like have sensors and a view screen or anything like that. If you're on the deck, you can see what's going on. If you're in a piloting seat, you might have windows to the outside. You might not.
So she probably had like that kind of view of from from the cockpit, kind of a or the bridge of the ship, kind of a thing where she saw the totality of everything, but probably didn't see a ton of details unless this guy came into the. No, if he came into the bridge or something like that.
Um, with a nat 20, yeah, there were a lot of details you didn't really recall. But you do remember very vividly that there was, because it was so odd, a beardless dwarf amongst the crew on the other ship that was watching you as your ship started to crash in this direction, amongst the other crew, ready to board and just deciding, let them go down. It was a very unusual thing. I mean, why would there be a beardless dwarf?
On a drow ship.
Was it a drow ship, or was it a drow ship piloted by others?
Hmm.
Or is there something in that dwarf that means he belonged on the drow ship?
Ah, were you one of the pirates on that drow ship?
His smile's going to get a little wider. I've been on a few different ships. Been a pirate a few different times. You get around in 100 years, you know? Did I did I board you once?
I don't think so.
Shame. Still familiar looking, and he's just gonna tap his mug a couple times. Eh.
Does she look like her mom?
Yeah, you do look a bit like your mom.
She's not going to say anything about that, but
Well, no hard feelings, right? Pass the pass, and this asteroid's all about just surviving.
Shay is not going to say anything. Just stare back at him.
He's gonna glance over at Genevieve. Do I need to charge extra to make sure I don't get a knife in the back? Because that would be so not cool.
You'll know get a knife in the back. Just get us there.
That I can do if you don't mind flying cargo.
And I have an open
Well,
invitation, so at least to their
even
market.
better.
At least to their market.
Even better. He's gonna pull out a pocket watch. Shay, it is of Kender design, and you do know that after the ship crashed, there were some looters that took personal belongings, but that's neither here nor there. Well, I was gonna go tomorrow, but yeah, we can go today. It's not like the sun rises or sets. I'm good to drive. Only had 3 of these. Which reminds me, Kitlak, would you make me a Constitution saving throw?
Yeah, Shay has not touched her drink. She doesn't drink.
Let's see what Kitlak's con is. Oh, it's
She
actually
doesn't
one of
drink.
his good saves.
She doesn't
Do
drink
you
alcohol.
have any resistances to poison or anything like that?
No. But Kitlak got a 11 on that overall.
So you're not poisoned. You don't feel like you're going to throw up exactly, but you down that very quickly, and your stomach is already full. You have just kind of that overfull feeling when you drink too much, even though you haven't drunk too much, simply because you do have a large sack in your stomach right now.
Yeah,
um,
it's a good diet plan right there.
yeah,
Uh,
it also makes you a wee bit slow, so your feet, your movements just kind of reduced for 5 feet for about an hour or so.
Cool. Kitlak is going to let out a large burp that continues unabated for like 20 seconds.
There is a moment of silence in the bar, and then every other dwarf starts burping, trying to outdo you.
Just threw down the gauntlet in here.
Yeah, the Harry's just gonna give you a look, and you really had to start that. Well, now we
It's
can't
like
go until they finish.
it's like when you howl around a pack of wolves.
Uh,
Kitlak looks troubled.
there is at least one dwarf maiden that gets to about 43 seconds before having to cut off, and there is a round of applause, and all of the other dwarves are buying her drink.
Kitlak's gonna join in the applause at least. You know, respect where it's due.
Harry's going to raise his glass to her, and then, all right, let's go. As it turns out, they do have some deliveries that they need, so you'll be traveling not in style, but at least you'll have something to lean against.
So he said $400 a head, right?
400 gold plus 100 for insurance
Plus a
For
hundred,
each or in general.
in general. So 500 total.
500 total. Genevieve will pay
Fi-
that.
Insurance is just if you get into the goods, I get some recompense before they kill you, you know? Also, don't get into the goods. They don't like that. And he's going to lead you to the Crimson Tower. He seems to have a low level port there. His ship isn't very big. It's a very small, very simple cargo hauler for a spelljammer. Um, there is room on deck for about a half dozen people, but he does happily just open the door to the cargo hold for all four of you.
Genevieve will go in.
Kitlak's gonna hop in and try and find a comfy crate to sit on.
Yes, Cassie will follow.
Yep.
He's going to close the door, Petty, and then only a couple hours, mates. Then you're on your own. And if you want a return trip, you're going to have to wait till I come out again. And then he chuckles to himself, if they come back. And then he heads off. Uh, the crates are nothing special. They are. There is light down here. It's basically glow crystals. They're at a very low illumination. Uh, you could probably adjust that if you needed to, but I think everyone has dark vision here, don't they?
Yes.
I believe
She
so.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's fine. If you examine the crates and then look at your hunk of wood, Genevieve, there seems to be a passing resemblance. The crates are made of the wood is less charred, less scarred, and seems a little more durable, whereas yours is more like petrified, worn, smooth, along with all the carving in it of the languages in it. Um, it's not packed too tightly. It seems to be a simple 10 by 10 10 by 10, yeah, 10 by 10 square with about 4 crates total, just enough for you guys to just kind of sit in between them or sit on top of them. About 20 minutes later, you feel a shift in inertia as the ship starts flying. Um, there are no windows or anything, but yeah, you have a couple hours to chat. Would anyone like to chat about anything?
I spy with my Cobalt Eye something that starts with the letter C?
Ergo hold.
No.
Is it a crate?
It is a crate. Your turn.
She looks around, but she doesn't continue the game. She says, I do hope that he's not just taking us somewhere to sell us into slavery.
I don't have time for that.
Well, he is a
Cassie
pirate.
just shrugs for that.
Is what pirates do, and it wouldn't be the first time someone's tried to do that to me.
You're all sure you want to come with me on this trip, yeah? Could be a death sentence for us.
Well, where there's death, there's profit. Hopefully.
Indeed. And where there's
That's
certain
what I
death,
have.
there's certain profit.
What was that, Cassie?
I have a way out of it.
And so could you for the low price of no. All right, this is a short rest if you'd like.
Now you have to do a running advertisement list every 20 minutes now.
God,
I don't think I've used
Oh,
anything.
boy.
Yeah,
turn on an
I-
ad blocker or something.
So, am I official now?
You've been official. Get
Yay!
I think we decided
mean-
that last night, didn't we?
I mean, I knew. Yeah, you said it, but sometimes a girl just isn't sure. So I've been in and out of a number of crews and kicked out of some. Yeah,
I really feel like that should have been a question on the interview. Why were you kicked out of previous crews?
not for. It was mostly because they didn't want to share the profits with me.
I think you get used to getting kicked out of places.
No, you don't, or I don't.
I got I got kicked out of my druid circle. I'm doing fine.
Why did they kick you out?
I had a disagreement with the archdruid. We wanted to achieve different goals.
What goal did you want to achieve?
Balance. Coming to terms with the truth of the world around us, of
And
technology, of things like Cassie.
and the Archdruid, what did they want?
To burn it all.
I could see how that would be a hard thing to reconcile.
From here.
No, not from here. I come from a different place. I'm sure I'm sure the force there is gone by this point.
Oh. Do you have any leaves
Any leaves?
from your forest?
The only thing I have from my forest is this, and she'll detach the moon sickle from her side. It's the only thing that I was allowed to take with me when I was, how would you say it out here, excommunicated?
Shay's gonna pop out a book from her backpack. Um, and start going through the pages. And you notice there's a bunch of different leaves in the pages. She stops on a blue. It kind of looks like a blue maple leaf. Said this one is from Taranth. And she'll flip a few more, and it's like a red pine needle, which isn't kind of a leaf, but she's making it work. And she's like, this is from well, Beneteau.
If you're
I
worried
collect them.
about me, you don't need to be. But no, I don't have any leaves from my forest for your collection.
Oh, I'm not worried. I was just curious if you had any leaves, because if you're willing to part with it, I'd put it in my collection.
If I could make things grow with my powers, I would. But I was trained more as a combat druid, so I believe the colloquial term is eco-terrorist.
Ah. Yeah, if my dad could make things grow, he'd probably be happier too.
Now I just want to find ways to create spaces of nature inside of these areas like this. That's why I'm interested in Mistmar and the soil that they have.
How does technology fit in with that?
It's less about technology, more about just like at the Crimson Plateau, the only nature that's there is the crops. They don't have a little space that's just for pleasure.
That's true. Yeah, there's kind of no room for it on the plateau.
There could be room for it.
Where would you put it?
Genevieve, do you already have a map marked up of where you tear down part of the market and put up a nice little park?
I think it would be less about tearing down part of the market and more incorporating the park into the market. Does that make sense?
Grass roads instead of the hard pack they have now.
Kinda, yeah.
A hill down and up rather than this lift business.
A few trees that provide shade for those shopping.
I mean, it's mostly underground, but yeah, shade in the dark.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I keep seeing like on the top, so I keep forgetting it's underground.
Well, you could. They just catch on fire.
But yeah, or like, like pleasant little glowing mushrooms that provide like nice ambient light along the path. Natural stuff like that. She's not looking to recreate forests. She's more looking to kind of enhance what's here and maybe take some, just use her knowledge that she's picked up to say, okay, I think that this plant would probably grow really well here, but it's not for food. It's just for, chilling.
Like when they have those green skyscraper type of things where they've got just plants and
yeah. Yeah, the idea is kind of to enhance what's there with a little bit more nature.
Shay, you've definitely glimpsed that on other worlds, but here space is at a premium. Green space is for survival, not anything else. So it's I mean, it sounds like a great dream, I'm sure, but what do you think?
I love that idea. That sounds great. I not sure if it would catch on here, but I mean, it's always worth a try.
Well, this is just where I ended up. But if that soil is working here, it might work in on other areas in this world. Not just this little chunk of rock, but there may be other places that might need something where it's hard to grow stuff.
There are indeed. I bet that would be very helpful on a lot of planets.
If I can figure out what the people of Mistmar did to create such fertile soil, I can try and recreate it or perhaps get myself a sample. And when we get Kitlak his ship, I'm sure we'll be traveling quite a few places. And maybe I can make a little bit of a difference.
So, are we buying this, burning it, stealing it?
Don't know yet. We'll have to see when we get there. I know they're very protective of their soil, so I'll just have to see which way the wind is blowing.
So, Cypher, when you initially said we could walk there, is that literally true?
Oh yeah, it would have taken you like a week or two, maybe even 3, depending on what you encountered. But yeah,
So
you could
there's like a
definitely.
path down to the base, and then you can walk, kind of a thing.
There's a path down on. You can't see it because it's on the other side of Walk's End, and then you just
Hmm.
take the long walk through the Obsidian Barrens on the other side of Fail Ruin. Travel through the Shadow Spires, and then you get to Mistmar.
Gotcha.
It is a long, arduous, dangerous walk, but you can do it.
Yeah. So it's we're like on a basically a bigger Thunder Bluff kind of a thing.
Yeah. Everything okay, Tyler?
Yeah, I was just trying to import something, but it was not letting me. I'm not fool with that. I don't have, deputies, so I can't do it anyway.
All right.
And Kitlak wants revenge. Do we know what he wants revenge on? I forgot.
Well, you were there when he was kind of a little bit telling the dwarf.
I feel like what Kitlak has shared with the dwarf is more or less what he shared with everyone else. He isn't super consistent on how much he keeps to himself. So like people who are not Shay might have gotten more bits and pieces previous. Like you definitely know that he was like part of a smuggling crew and something went wrong there and he wants to get revenge because of that. But that's about all you got.
Well, they do say that revenge isn't profitable.
Revenge, Kidlak says, is not about profit. It's about setting the scales right. There are those out there in the cosmos who think they are the law, who think they know better than everyone else, who think they have the right to decide what freedoms we can and cannot exercise and dictate how we live, and to kill those who step outside those bounds. Kitlak spits.
Sounds like a lot of people on this asteroid.
Well, a lot of people haven't wronged me as much as certain people have. And I will have my revenge before my short life is over.
Okay, so do you have a pact with Cassie's group?
Activate.
Sorry, you said, Cassie?
It doesn't have to be short as you make it out to be.
Yes, we know. It's for a limited time only. Get 10% off when you enter discount code Cassie at checkout. Yes, no, we know. But no.
No, this is not whatever that was, whatever that glitch was. This is just me
Glitch.
saying that there are other options available to you here. It doesn't have to be mine.
We are in this for mutual gain. And also, I like to think that we trust each other. I don't think that we have a contract as such. More like an understanding.
So you're willing to sell your life for this revenge?
Sell implies I put a price on it. No, I'm willing to bend my life's purpose for this revenge.
And Cassie, you what body are you on? Is that rude? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that seems like that might be insensitive. I was afraid to ask, and I'm not sure that I should.
Cassie just vaguely looks herself over, looks at most of her body. It's all one color except for her discolored arm.
As far as I know, this is my first. As you know, I do seem to be missing some of my memory, so I could be wrong.
Your employers seem to be very good at taking memories from people without them even realizing it.
Yes, quite true, and I'm a little uncomfortable with that. But I think it might have something to do with my memory here as well. It may have, it may have sustained some damage at some point.
See, what worries me is how much of yourself is left. Your memories are missing. You've got the occasional glitch. And you can't tell even if this is your first backup body or not. I'm concerned for you, Cassie. All this is to say.
And intrigued.
I'm
You're-
mostly
This is
concerned.
something I've mulled over a number of times before. Unfortunately, at the moment, I can't do anything to change that, so I just have to take it as it comes.
Have you tried therapy? Not that you need it, but just to sort through things. I mean, yeah, there's I don't know. You generate so much baggage in this place that you kind of have to talk to someone.
Look, it's been a long time since I've seen a traveling space therapist roll through here. They were nice while they were here, but then they had other places to attend to, and, well, I'm assuming their caseload must be very large.
Roll me your history real quick, Tyler.
All right. That is a 8.
Yeah, the case must be very large. And they left at just the wrong time. They arrived, and then all of a sudden there was all these traumas from blackmails, and then he was gone.
Yes, very, very strange indeed.
Also, I will be right back. The dog needs to be let out.
I think what it boils down to is that we've all got our reasons for doing what we're doing.
So, what's your driving force, Cassie?
Freedom. I think that would be the best way to put it. Freedom.
Just do whatever you want. I mean, that's great.
Training for
Are
work,
you
bro.
are you free? Like, if you didn't want to work for your employer, would you have to give the body back, or?
Everybody has to earn a living in some way.
Yeah, but is that freedom? It's kind of stuck. And what does your employer want you to
I'm on
do?
this asteroid, and I don't want to be stuck on this asteroid.
There, there, I agree with you. There's so much more to. There's so much more out there.
Are you able to leave this asteroid if we get a spelljammer, or do you think you're going to be stuck here?
Cassie only shrugs.
Sorry about that. I'm back.
Maybe cross that bridge when we come to it. Spelljammer first, and then we'll worry about everyone's baggage.
Speaking of baggage, you hear ever so faintly, "Well, dudes and dudettes, we're about to arrive at Mistmar and drop off the cargo. Thank you for a rather calm ride, and I hope you enjoy your trip on the way down. Here's to your survival." And you just hear a small clank, and the floor beneath you starts retracting.
How big of a drop is it?
Do you want to take a peek?
Yeah, absolutely.
Take a peek. Perception check.
Sure.
Or invest.
Guidance.
Well, no, it's perception because the ship is still moving. So let's see.
It's a lot. It's 23 on the dice, and then perception is 3, so that is 26.
So 26. It's about a 30-foot drop.
That's
Like
not bad.
he's skimming the edge of the ground.
It's
The ship
bad
is
at
maybe
level
40 feet.
3.
It's about 40 feet up. It's a 30-foot drop from the cargo hold. You do notice as the door retracts that all the crates are so closely aligned because they are strapped down from the bottom. There's something there, you're not sure what, to a small pallet, 20 by 20 pallet, and you happen to be on top of it. So, yes, you are falling with the pallet. Everyone can make me a. Let's see, I believe it's acrobatics to fall, athletics to hold on, acrobatics to fall gracefully.
Yarp. Another guidance for Kitlak.
And what if we can just activate our jetpack?
You absolutely can do that.
Yeah,
Say-
Cassie will absolutely do that.
14 for Kitlak. Woo! There you go.
Nice.
Are you doing athletics to hold on or acrobatics to fall gracefully?
You know, I'm going to do an athletics to hold on. It's like a 1 point difference, so.
And Kitlak?
Are there any like trees or anything around? I mean, yeah, right. Like it's a
You're on
green
the
area.
outside of the crater. There are some trees and other things, but you're also you're dropping pretty fast. Like this
Rocky
is a reaction.
spires, perhaps.
Let me take a look. No, you're not near any rocky spires. Actually, you are in what seems to be a place that has been flattened multiple times. If you had to guess,
Okay.
this is a usual landing ground.
Well, Kitlak is going to tuck his head and attempt to tuck and roll with a 14 acrobatics.
Okay.
With my natural 20, can I hold Shay down as well?
I'll let you give Shay. I'll give you the help. Let you give Shay the help action. So Shay, roll another d20 and take the higher of the two. And let me know if you're doing athletics or acrobatics.
Acrobatics 17.
Okay, so you and Kitlak are trying to roll off. Um, and Genevieve is holding on, and Cassie's just flying. Okay, so let's see.
Like Shay was just kind of tumbling, and then Genevieve kind of straightened her out, and so that she can actually try an acrobatic move on this landing.
All right, so Shay and Kitlak, you roll, you dodge, you get out of the way of the landing thing, thankfully. And you take 5 bludgeoning damage for the shortfall that you had to deal with.
Okay.
With a nat 20, you cling on to just the right portion, Genevieve, so that you impact the ground with the crates. Let's just see if you take any damage whatsoever from the impact. You take 2 bludgeoning damage from a bit of a bump as you land. And Cassie, you just gently fly down, completely unconcerned.
Yeah, she wasn't about to try to help anybody because she is not terribly strong.
Genevieve will brush herself off and then pat her pockets and pull out the invitation, the letter of introduction.
Well, that was a surprise. Is everybody okay there?
I think so. I need to purchase a jetpack. Where'd you get yours?
Oh, that's simple. I built it.
Kitlak gets up and like takes off his hat, beats it against his hip on his overcoat, and then puts it back on. No worse for wear.
You take a look at the pallet. The pallet is the bottom part has been completely destroyed, but the crates landed perfectly, and they are kind of falling open from the impact. And you see inside there seems to be just some supplies of looks like some well padded writing implements, some vellum. Their Malkill no, some drinks in bottles, and even some books and maps. It's there is also some blankets or clothing. It's hard to tell. It's all folded together, but it's all landed perfectly fine. And you see coming out of the forgive the term woodwork, a series of satyrs and centaur, and they're very fey in that they are definitely not from the material plane. Um, Tyler, no. Um, there's also something just a bit off about them too as you look at them. There's like centaurs have that upper human half, and they're wearing armor. They are carrying spears. They are not looking friendly, but they also just look a little rougher, almost like there's something beneath the fur on their horse halves that has carried into their humans. The Harengon look a little larger than normal. Some of them have antlers. The satyrs, some of them seem to be hunched and have an unusual shadow, and they're just approaching. But one of the centaurs is walking towards. Did most of you all kind of landed around it? Um, so they're approaching you and eyeing each of you warily, trying to determine who to approach first.
Are we in the right place?
Genevieve is going to try speaking in Elvish first and say, I've come with a bit of an invitation, and she'll hold out the piece of paper.
Again, it's a bit of bark, and it's more of a
Yeah, that thing, the bark.
yeah, yeah, a petrified lump that's slightly large. Yeah. You hear a rumble from the centaur's chest, and then one of the Harengon is going to hop over. It is one of the ones with the antlers, and they're going to examine it. And well, I did declare, haven't seen one of these in half a decade. Have you dipped it in your blood yet?
Are they speaking Elven or Common?
That is common.
Okay. Then she will switch over to Common and say, I'm afraid I wasn't given much details on what to do with it. Am I supposed to?
Yeah, only if you wanted to seal the contract, but might want to negotiate before you seal the contract.
Well, then I'm glad I didn't.
Oh, you could have used someone else's blood, sealed in with the contract, and gained the benefits, but most people don't think like that.
Genevieve will look back at the piece of bark and just say, well, unfortunately, I could only read bits and pieces of it, and I'm not inclined to sign or to sign anybody else's blood until I'm sure of the details of the contract.
Ah, you're one of the tricky ones. Got a bit of something between your ears there. Not just a pretty face. All right, then, let's take a look at that. And he's going to... Do you let him lift the wood lump from your hands?
I'm gonna roll an insight check just to make sure that this Harengon is not gonna go running off with it.
Go ahead.
That's a 22.
No. In fact, you think he's being very respectful on some level. He just wants to properly examine it, since by design you can't read it in its entirety while you're holding it. Part of your hand will always cover something.
Gotcha. Then yeah, she will go ahead and let him examine it.
Now let's see where this is from. Ah, well, you're just gonna have to go and visit old Becky. Lucky you, lucky you. Makes the best blood clot pie around these parts.
Are you able to show us the way?
I gotta help coordinate this lot, and you know how it is. It's like three hens without a rooster if you just leave them alone. But old Billy Bob here, he'll show you the way to old Becky, won't you, Billy Bob? And the centaur just kind of grunts, and the tip of the spear kind of pokes at Cassie. Not like in an attack way, more in a what is this sort of way. Now don't you be rude there, they're guests. He says something. It is slightly formal and it is slightly dark. It is not Elvish or Sylvan. You don't know what it is. Sets your hairs on end, though. Now, no need for language like that. Take him to old Becky and be respectful. He's going to hand you the lump of wood back. Go on now. We'll see you later. Maybe even for a great feast.
Does old Becky speak Common?
Oh, we all speak that around here, these here parts. We may look common, but, we know all the little languages. The fancy ones, the pretty ones, even the lazy ones.
There are lazy languages?
What this pretty young little lady here was spouting earlier. Can't be formal, gotta be lazy. Doesn't mean she's lazy, just means her tongue is just a wee bit. Too much talking, am I right?
It's Elvish is the language that my archdruid used to speak.
He lets out a bit of a laugh. Ah, the archdruids, laziest of them all. Go on now, you get. Silly buggers.
Does the centaur lead them?
He gives Cassie one last poke, and then he'll turn and kind of indicate with an arm which to follow him.
Okay, she'll follow. I can't speak for the others.
Shay is gonna turn and say, he noid voyaith, which in Kender means even my language.
You see some of the satyr turn and look at you, and the Harengon's going to let out a sharp whistle. And, hey, hey! Now he did not just mean to invite himself as the main course of the meal. She just don't know. And the Harengon's going to look at you and kind of say, not softly in that other people can't hear, but soft in that they're making it seem like they're trying to be kind of subtle about it. Now, Kenya's a rare delicacy around here. You definitely don't want to give the impression that you're up for dinner. Or hell, a good lunch. You go great with the mimosas. You suddenly have a feeling you know where at least part of your crew ended up that you never saw again.
Thank you. I think.
Hey, but at least, and he's going to wink at you, Genevieve. Someone's glad that'd be welcome, little lady.
I'll keep it in mind.
Jay is gonna run after Genevieve.
The centaur
think-
leads. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think Cassie will follow close behind.
What was that all about?
They like to eat kenders around here, apparently.
No, I don't mean your thing. I mean, what was with the poking?
I honestly have no idea. Maybe they haven't seen anything like you before.
Interesting.
So,
I think the Fae just have a different way of going about things than that you went. Yeah, they would have taken a different path, I think. They crop up on every planet, you know?
So yeah, they'll keep following Billy Bob.
as he leaves sort of the cleared area, you do see more kind of strange trees and weird glowing fungus, like you like, in fact. And there is just a bit of something in the air. It's one of the few places that, while it does get sunlight because of the large tree, because of the floating moats, and because of the placement of the mesas and the shadow spires, this is a place that actually gets not only shade, but the illusion of night if you're in the right area. Um, it's actually not this deserted. There are a number of stalls around, each handled by a different fey creature. There don't seem to be really any elves as you look around, though, strangely enough. They all seem to be centaurs who are mostly looking to be guards, satyrs. You have a couple bugbears. You have fairies. You even have a couple goblins. And they're all just kind of moving about. You see there's trades going on. There's some unusual plant life. There's some unusual meat. There are some lovely, um, it looks like wooden weapons, which you wouldn't think would be able to survive the heat of this place. But now that you are actually feeling about it, while it is still warm like the rest of the asteroid, there is the illusion or maybe the essence of just like a cold spray in the air. Maybe that's from the lake. Maybe that's an illusion that they do put out there. You don't know.
Well,
Maybe
it's
there's
kind of
so
like
much-
when it's been 120 degrees and then it gets down to 90 degrees and suddenly it feels a lot cooler.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly what it feels like to you. Um, there are a few odd looks in your direction, but you're being led by Billy Bob and Genevieve. You haven't put away the bit of
Bark.
bark yet, have you?
No.
Have any of you seen Owlin before?
Shay
I met
probably has.
imagine Kitlag probably has. Like, he's kind of seen most of the not super duper rare races out there, just at least in passing.
There are a couple of Owlin. There are, like every other Fey creature around here, there is something a little off. Their feathers are a little darker. They look a little sharper. Their beaks look a little more lethal. Um, the Furbolg seem to loom in the shadows, even as they seem to tend to the gardens around. Uh, it is a bit of a strange sort of place. And it's slightly, for all its beauty, there is just a little disturbance. Like everything's slightly to the left, and you're not quite sure why. You can't put your finger on it.
There is all that, but I feel like Genevieve at least feels like it's a little closer to home than she's been in a while, even though it's wild and weird and crazy from her forest. It feels closer to home than the rest of the asteroid.
Yeah, it's very different than anywhere else on this asteroid. The closest thing that you would recognize, Shay, is the farms that your father works on, and even those are very domesticated, very controlled, almost to the point of hydroponics in some areas.
Yeah. So this doesn't ring any bells from any of the planets she's visited then.
Uh, roll me your history.
Ah, 8.
The only thing that you can recall about something like this that's familiar is the words of your mother that said, "Don't eat any of the fruit." So that she never said anything about the mushrooms, and their glow is gorgeous, and it looks like they cook some of them.
Are there fruiting bushes, trees around here?
Yeah, in fact, there's this great big tree right here. Um, those are leaves, but those are also just fruits, some of which have fallen to the ground. It doesn't look rotten, but much like the mushrooms, they do have a bit of a glow. It's more on the orange spectrum than the blue and purple you're seeing. But yeah, some of the passerbys do pick it up. A couple of the fairies pick them up, and some are eating them, some are not. Um, there's no real rhyme or reason.
Being a forest gnome as well as a druid, um, would Genevieve have fairly decent knowledge of the Feywild?
Um, I'd say you'd probably be more familiar with it than anyone else in the group. How's that?
Okay. Would this strike her? Maybe she's heard tales of the. I don't know if the Feywild has this. You know, in a Celtic mythology, there's like the shadow portion of the shadow fairies or the dark fairies, and then there's the light fairies.
The
Roll
Seelie
me,
and the Unseelie.
Thank you.
roll me history, arcana, or investigation, and I'll give you an answer depending on what you roll and what the result is.
I still have an inspiration too, but I think I want to save that for any potential negotiations. Uh, mm, I mean, it's a +4 either way for all of
Choose
those.
one.
Let's go with Arcana 11.
With an 11, you do know that there are Unseelie and Seelie, Dark Fae and Light Fae, and the Feywild has its own version of the Shadow and the Autumn Courts. Um, if you ever you haven't encountered them, but from the stories, this is similar to the Autumn Courts, but again, there's something ever so slightly off. It's far too vibrant, far too uh, fruitful and lively to be in autumn court. Those are usually more solemn, a little more stringent. While there is usually a harvest, it is again not from a fruiting tree, but a tree that has finished its fruiting and is beginning the next phase. That's not the feeling around here. So
Okay.
it's got a touch of that mood, but it's still just not quite right.
The don't eat the fruit from her mother, was that something that a mother just says to the kid when they don't want them to do something, or was it like a legitimate concern of do not do this?
Mm, could go either way.
And was she just addressing Shay, or was she talking to? And would her mother be that type of mother?
I'm gonna say roll me an insight just for funsies. Let's see how much of introspection and understanding you've grown into.
Okay, that's 18.
Um, with an 18, your father is the storyteller, your mother is the scientist. If she says don't eat something, whether it's to you or the crew, it's because she has a reason for it, not simply because you're a child. Now, at the time, you probably took it as you are a child and mom's telling you what not to do. But as you grow older, you realize a lot of those little things that kind of nag in your head that at the time seem like something just a mother tells the child, you realize that is a scientist saying a fact. You might not know the reasons behind it, but she did.
Yeah, she's gonna relay that to the group. Uh, yeah, my mom is a bit of a scientist, and she says not to. We were. I forgot what planet we were on, but we found a place similar to this, and she said, "Don't eat the fruit." I know the others around here, the natives, are eating it, but he was very adamant about it.
Well, I filled up at the tavern, so no threat of that.
I would say I'm pretty safe.
I'll keep it in mind.
Uh, I mean, it could be magical, so safe is relative.
I don't need to eat.
Oh, so you just do you have any urges to eat it though? Like just out of curiosity? Just toss it down your gullet like
Nothing,
Kitlak does?
nothing more than scientific curiosity, but I think I can withstand that.
Well, surely you're not talking about my cooking. My cooking is gosh darn fantastic. There's nothing to withstand. It is delish. Thank you, darling. And she says that to Billy Bob. You can go off and play with the other boys now. Let's see what we've got here.
Genevieve will step up and go. I assume that means you're Becky.
That's right, but it's just little Becky, little ma'am. No, no simple Becky. I mean, who wants to be just simple Becky? Becky, simple Becky. I'm not old. You hear? You call me old, we're gonna have a problem. Gonna come after you with a whipping.
I didn't dream of it.
Becky is another satyr. This one, her horns are kind of curved over her head before curling in the back. Her hair seems to uh, be pulled back into a bun that complements it and seems to wrap around her horns as well. She doesn't look old at all. Her legs beneath her skirt are little tufts of lavender wool, and she's wearing a almost sort of a shoulderless top, but it looks like at the same time it also looks a bit like a cozy sweater. And now you seem to be traveling from a bit far. Let's see, we got Oh, we got a bit of a delicious dinner, and we got a little bit of a gnome, and we got a little bit of a bargaining chip, and we got a little bit of a little dragon.
Well, you nailed it on the head.
So, which one of y'all are the little negotiators of this here group? And who here is the little bargaining chip? Is it just the one, or is it the two?
Believe
I've
we take turns.
I've got the bark, if that's what you're talking about.
Oh, why, it's been ages since I gave that out. Who did I give that out to? Oh, it was a lovely little construct that just refused to come back home. Let's take a look see. And she's going to hold out her hands to receive it.
Genevieve will hand it over.
Now let's see. Oh, yeah. You know, the lady who got this from me won it in a game. She could have taken my whole house, but no, no. All she wanted was a bit of a favor. Never thought she'd use it like this, though. Seemed more clever than that. But then again, she's gonna poke her head with her finger. Probably got something cooking. She was a clever cookie.
So what's the contract for? Just for a favor?
Well, it's to let you into the market, and if you want something, we can negotiate for it instead of the usual price. But I see you brought the usual price anyway. We're happy to negotiate that way too.
Is she looking at Cassie when she says that?
Cassie and Shay.
Well, I don't know about that, but do y'all take regular currency or just the bargaining chips?
Oh, oh, you sweet summer child. Come on in, come in, and let's have some tea and some blood clot pie. I just got it out of the oven. And there is a bit of a. It's not so much a storefront. It's more of a cottage built out of the tree bark. It's the roots of the bark are kind of that gnarled cage thing, but uh, it's tall enough for a satyr to get in, and they've constructed a little home within it. Um, you can all follow her in.
Genevieve will follow her in.
Cassie likewise.
Kid like as well.
Yeah, she's not gonna be alone in this place.
Now be sure to wipe your feet and don't get any stains on the floor. You look at the floor. There are plenty of stains. They look like they're from blood, but you don't think that's what she means.
But she's gonna start taking off her shoes, and then she is going to stop and put them back on.
Now we got sweet tea, we got sour tea, we got blood tea, we got wine tea, we got the yawn tea if you're into that stuff, and we got a bit of the green tea.
Yanti, excuse me?
Oh, you want the yawn tea? No problem, no problem. You know, occasionally
No,
you get a bit of the bloodsuckers and they want a bit of a kick in their meal.
I draw the line at eating sentience. No, no, thank you.
Oh, you're adorable, sweet, sweet, sweet thing. And she's going to pull out a pitcher, and there is a Yanti in it. It is a very shrunk Yanti. It looks a little more um, like a small fish kind of swimming around.
Yeah, it's
And
like
it seems,
snake whiskey.
yeah, and it's you think it's swimming around? It could just be floating around. It's hard to tell. There seems to be some sort of current in there. And now remember, if you do take this, it has a bit of a kick, a bit of copper, and a lot of toxin. So if you're not immune to it, you might want to go easy.
I think I will pass, but much appreciated.
No problem. You wouldn't be the first that looked at it and changed their mind. You also wouldn't be the first that looked at it and said, "I can handle it." Oh, oh, those were some fun days. Fun hallucinations too. Anywho, any other tea that I can get you?
I think I'll be good. But you seem like like you got the pulse on the market here.
Oh, I got the pulse on the market, got the pulse on the trades, got the pulse on the dirt. All the dirt. And she's going to smile very sharply at that. You all wouldn't happen to be here for the dirt, would you?
I might be, if I can be perfectly straight with you.
We like straight. Straight's good. Straight's easy. Some crooked ones you got to watch out for. Of course, that's also half the fun. She's going to come out with it just looks like regular old sweet tea, and she's going to hand the glass to Kender now, or to not to Kender, to Shay, and go. Now you drink up. Now you need to be nice and hydrated.
I don't think I need to tempt you in with a moist candor.
Oh no! If I wanted to flavor you, I'd be giving you the green tea. That's just you need to stay hydrated, because some of us can eat without eating. That tends to dehydrate folks like you.
We had some drinks at the tavern before you left.
Oh, that cobalt piss? No, that's nothing. Have this, I'll get you the good stuff. Assuming we can come to a good arrangement, of course. And she's going to disappear and then reappear with 4 plates of blood cop pie. And true to its word, it looks like some sort of veiny meat with little bits of red something oozing out.
Only the rarest of meats, I see.
Oh, you're adorable, sweetie. No, it's actually just coloring, leaves, bit of fruit. We call it blood clot because it looks like a blood clot, but it ain't a blood clot. Now, that's only for special parties, and that can only be had at the big tree. And while it's rare to get visitors, you're not quite that special yet, honey.
I've heard from the Archdruid that we should be leery of accepting food from Fae.
Well, yeah, it's a bit brighter than the average elf out there. And you're quite right. However, and she's going to hold up the bark again and then set it in front of you. You're here under my protection. That means I ain't gonna double cross you. I ain't gonna trick you. We negotiate straight. My honor is on the line. I break my honor, I have to go and talk with the big guy. And let me tell you, handsome as he is, I ain't surviving that trip. We take our deal seriously here.
Genevieve will glance over at Shay, but she really wants to make this deal. So she is going to take a bite. I'm not even going to have her roll insight check on that. She is just going to step out in a leaf of faith.
Womp womp.
And I am going to need you to hold on to that thought until next week. Thank you all. Oh, wait, actually, let me check. Correction. Oh, no, I will be here next Tuesday. Yes. Then, yes, hold on to that thought until next week. Find out if you need to make a con saving throw or it's the most delicious pie you ever ate. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back at this strange Fey place in 7 days or so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yep, thank you very much.